Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles.
My name is Kirk. Thursday Night Football, baby.
The Eagles defeat the Commanders 26-18.
And the score was so low for so long.
in what can only be described as a sudden blowout.
Yeah. Kind of like last week a little bit, but not as like back and forth. But just the fourth quarter, both teams just go off a little bit.
Yeah.
Eagles score 3 touchdowns in the fourth.
Yeah, so it was 10-6.
10-6.
Commanders leading the Eagles.
Yep.
Quite a ways into the fourth.
Oh, yeah.
The game turned on. So the Eagles scored a touchdown to make it 12-6.
And a missed extra point.
Jake Elliott had a rough night. Thank goodness they won.
Right.
So we're finally getting that game going, just like Bengals-Ravens last week. We're like, okay,
here we go.
Fourth quarter will get going. Commanders were driving.
Moving it.
Now they got kicked in the butt. They're like, okay, we're down 2 now. Let's get going. They had like 3 first downs in a row.
Hit Ertz a couple times.
A couple of Eckler.
Yeah.
And they get to just outside the red zone, a second and inches. They thump it, no gain. They thump it again, -1.
Yep.
They go for that 4th and 2.
In field goal range.
Down 2 points with about 7-8 minutes. What did you think of that decision?
Why? I get it if your offense is doing good or your defense is doing terrible. Mm-hmm. Go for the points. It's 12-10. Neither team is scoring. Just make it 13-12. Rely on your defense. The second they missed that, I was like, this game's over. Eagles got this thing now.
You
like the 4th down. Go for it.
I do like the 4th downs, though. When you're taking the lead, there's something to that. Even analytically, you could talk about taking the lead gives you a better chance to win than not.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I give you that. But they hadn't scored in the whole second half. You're only down 2 points. Make them pay for that missed extra point.
Yeah,
put some pressure on their kicker because
Jake Elliott wasn't going to make anything.
Basically, it's score a touchdown, Eagles. Even if you're up 1, you're still trying to score a touchdown if you're the Eagles.
Taking the lead again could have had, implications, butt-clenching implications in Philadelphia. The fans were booing. The Boo Birds were out.
They were there.
What I was more upset about was the fact that they passed the ball all the way down the field, and then they just ran it 3 times for not even no gain. They lost yards.
Yeah.
Why do that? No one, the run the ball guys will never remember this. Run the ball guys every single first down.
Right.
Every time it's 1 yard, it could just be gained by a run, according to these guys.
Yeah.
As long as you don't run it, it would have worked.
Oh,
that's what they
according
say.
to them. Yeah.
But Jaden Daniels was getting a feel. There's nothing more contagious. We're talking about a lot of momentum things here. And so we're not really talking analytics.
Yeah.
But it is mental stuff is a big part of the football game.
Yeah, you finally got a drive going.
There's nothing but a quarterback who has just gotten 4 first downs on 5 plays is gonna get you that 1 yard. It's just I've been watching football a long time. It happens.
Go back to pass. He's a scrambling quarterback too, so he can run for a yard. Even if you drop back to pass, the 4th down call was terrible.
Yeah, I think that was a broken play. I need to watch that again.
It looked like he kind of fumbled the snap a little bit.
But do you think it was a designed run to the right? Because that's where it ended up.
I think it was. Okay. It was just off. The timing was off. It almost looked like he was going to hand it off to the guard when I saw it first live.
That was weird.
The guard almost beat him out, and then he just scrambled to the corner. Nobody going out for a pass, so he has to go for it.
Right.
It's just a bad call.
And from that 4th down, that everything just completely broke open for the Philadelphia crowd, and the Philadelphia Eagles. The second play after that, they Hurts throws it, 20, 30, 40 yards downfield. I think it was a 34-yard gain.
Yeah.
To Dallas Goedert, who catches it, turns up the field. He's, cross midfield. Yep. He's going into the 40, and he fumbles the ball.
Know.
And that ball was on the ground, and that was the game. Yeah. Because that could have completely changed everything if the Commanders recovered that.
It was on the sideline. It stayed in. Eagles guy gets there. Perfect bounce to him. Oh, God.
You know what? I don't always criticize Kirk Herbstreit's announcing, but just because I forget to. I do not like Kirk Herbstreit's announcing.
Me neither.
His analysis of that play was horrible. He had no excitement.
Yeah.
No acknowledgement that the game was just rolling around on the field. He was just like, yeah, and whatever the guy's name he recovered is get there in the right place at the right time. That's what he was acting like it was a designed play.
Yeah, like it was perfectly normal for that to happen.
It was a fumble with chaos. The aspects of the division were on the grass. You just be pumped about that. That's chaos. That's football, baby.
There's like 6 minutes left in the game. I mean, this is huge.
Huge.
And then Saquon says, hold my beer.
Yeah.
I got this game. I'm going off for 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah. He pumps one in from 18 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Commanders' first play, Daniels throws an interception.
Bad pick,
and then a big Saquon.
Right up the pipe. 2 runs right up the middle, and just bam, touchdown. Like a 39-yarder or something like that. But
Eagles take it. Yeah. They go to 8-2. Commanders fall to 7-4. You're starting to feel like
that hype is gone.
Now
you got to really play some football.
Honestly, this is exactly what I said would happen to the Commanders.
Yeah.
But even I felt weird saying it at the time while Jaden Daniels was. But this is Cliff Kingsbury football. Get pumped in September and October.
Yep.
And completely fade. And it's not just his Cardinals time. It's his college football time, too. I outlaid that in the preview, the team preview.
It's how he starts great. He finishes poorly.
Yeah. I think, there's some... I don't know. How are you feeling about the Commanders now? Because this is the loss of the Steelers last week, and then this...
Yeah, I mean, I'm always worried about a rookie quarterback going on a little slide like this. Mm-hmm. Yes, they lost to 2 good teams. They were right there with the Steelers last week. Yes, you lost to the divisional opponent this week. You had them into the 4th. You were there. Yeah. So you can compete.
Yeah, defense was fighting.
But now I'm going to figure out who Jaden Daniels actually is.
Yeah.
What kind of competitor is he? Because nothing was really impressive with him throwing the ball. Yeah. There's a lot of sacks in the first half, both sides. Mm-hmm. So I'm worried about the Commanders going forward because you're down to 4 losses. Now you're talking wild card. Yeah, are the Niners going to get going? Are the Cardinals going to keep going?
Yeah,
the Rams are sitting there at 5 losses.
Yeah, and you got Packers and Vikings who are both in the wild card hunt because the Lions have that division. So there's
now you're thinking, do we even make the playoffs? You went from 7-2, we're going to win the division. We can fight for the 1 seed too. Yeah. Now we might actually get bounced.
And I'm wondering if those ribs are right too for Daniels. So. On the Eagles side, they're pumped. They just got a huge division win. They're now up, a game and a half, and plus they're, got another game against the Commanders that they're probably feeling pretty confident about.
Yeah, and they'll completely forget that they were booing in the first half. Philly fans, man.
I mean, even if they lost, they're still 7-3, right, or something like that.
They're still right there.
God. Classic Eagles fans. But Saquon Barkley's the big story. He was already at 1,200 total yards and 8 touchdowns. Now he's at 1,400 total yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yep.
How are Giants fans feeling right now?
They should be calling for the head of the GM. He needs to be axed now. Yeah. They didn't sign Barkley because of about $1 million. That was the HBO Hard Knocks offseason thing.
Yeah.
They said, we're not going to pay $1 million more for a running back. And look at how many stupid teams out there didn't sign a running back and are doing terrible now. And the guys that signed Barkley, Henry, Aaron Jones, Mixon, there's a whole huge plethora.
This is huge for free agent running back market. Yeah. All 4 of those guys. I kind of have a different take. If Saquon Barkley was still on the Giants today, he'd be bad. Saquon Barkley from the last 2 years.
Right. They have 10 in the box.
Yeah. They should call for the GM's head. They should call for their own heads.
Yeah.
Because their team sucks.
Right.
All right. Mukilteo Football Show. This show is football, everything, NFL history, legacy, ups and downs of a season. We got shows Sunday, Monday, and Thursday after the prime time games. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so Eagles are in the books. They're feeling good. Got a couple other big divisional games.
Massive.
Here in week 11. I love that. Just get some, let's get some of the Commanders, Eagles. Let's get the Steelers, Ravens.
Get the juggernauts facing the juggernauts. Let's go.
We got Bills, Chiefs, which isn't a divisional game, but it's a
feels
conference.
Like
it feels like
it's like the Colts Patriots of old. They played every year in the middle of the season at some point.
The Peyton Brady, they always meet because they by schedule,
they
first
finished
place,
first
place. Yeah, so
first in their division, so they play first in the divisions.
yeah. Let's keep it divisional. Let's start with Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Okay,
Baltimore
I like
Ravens. 7-3 are the Ravens, going to Pittsburgh, who are 7-2 because they've had their bye, so they're a half game ahead. They're technically in the lead of the AFC North.
Similar, records to what we just saw tonight.
Yep.
So
this is in Pittsburgh, but Baltimore is favored by 3.
wow,
Yeah.
kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I think especially after the Steelers had such a buoying win against the Commanders who we saw tonight.
Yeah,
But
you had Russell Wilson out there dancing last week.
that's the most human thing I've ever seen Russell Wilson do. We're Seahawks fans here.
Yeah.
Decade of watching Russell Wilson. That was the most natural, happiness I've ever seen from him.
Never seen it. Yeah,
Crazy.
It came out of nowhere. Mike Tomlin pulling the right strings.
Yeah, and it was that's the first time I've seen him look like Seahawk Russell Wilson.
I know.
Throwing those moon balls to Pickens. Of course, the game winner to Mike Williams. That looked like every game winner he threw for us.
I know. And suck on that, Jets.
It's a bad week for the Jets. That's for sure.
Man.
He was extending plays. He actually won that game twice.
Yeah.
He drove them down the field. Jalen Warren, they were down a touchdown. He drove them all the way down the field. Jalen Warren fumbles at the 1.
Yep.
Commanders punt, and he drove them all the way down the field again with Mike Williams.
Right?
So it's a good day for Wilson. They still got that defense. You'd think people would be pumped about Pittsburgh right now and that they'd have a little bit more respect than being 3-point underdogs at home.
Yeah. I feel like people are worried about their defense, which is shocking because that's the best part of their team.
Yeah, one of their edge rushers, Alex Highsmith, got banged up, but he's missed 3 games this year already.
And TJ Watt's still there, so who cares?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, you still have to double team TJ Watt, which frees up room for everybody else.
And it's a deep defense.
Yeah. So I like that defense. I like the way that the Steelers' offense is built for Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. You have 2 go-get-him sideline jump ball guys. Pickens is the perfect receiver for Wilson.
I love that.
I love Williams being out there because he's the perfect just huck it up if you have one-on-one coverage.
You got Muth.
Yeah, and he'll have another week to get used to the offense. He just got there.
Yeah. That's all he does anyway.
Yeah. Right? Really, that's all he did with the Chargers. And it'll get hurt before the playoffs. It's guaranteed. And then Najee Harris having a hell of a season.
Yeah.
Dude wants to get paid. Jalen Warren's back. He's looking fresh besides that fumble, but it was a nice play to that point.
I think he got hurt on that fumble, too. I need to check that. It looked like it to me.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you fumble that bad, you got to sit out a few practices.
Broken ego.
Broken ego.
I love the way this team's very balanced on offense, and I think they know they have to rely on defense and just be opportunistic on offense, which is Russell Wilson's. That's how he played in Seattle. That's how he won games in Seattle.
Yep.
Is playing this way.
And it seems like a good. Maybe Pete Carroll deserves more credit than we gave him back in the day.
I know.
I used to just harp on Pete Carroll for the conservative game plans, but Mike Tomlin's another conservative game plan type of coach.
Yeah.
Give Russell Wilson a red light almost all the game, and then give him the green lights, and he will hit it for you.
And now we know where to get those spots. Yeah. Now we know who the one-on-ones, where the safeties are going to help out.
So you got to be feeling good. Pittsburgh, though, some respect to Baltimore, Lamar Jackson's playing better than he was last year.
I know.
And he won MVP last year.
I know. Lamar, I don't know how you stop him.
It's
incredible. I don't know. Nobody's figured it out. He is such a threat to run. He can drop back 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage and still make a good play.
Yeah, and it happens so fast.
Yeah. But he can just keep dropping back. He'll outrun you to the sideline. Still make a good play somehow. His awareness back there has gotten so much better. Yeah.
The only guy I've ever seen run anything like Lamar Jackson is Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
When he's in my brain because of this matchup, but no one ever quite get the right angle on Lamar Jackson. He's absolutely incredible. I think he's honestly doing better, but the Ravens defense maybe not as,
Defense is the weak point.
Yeah, and the secondary especially.
Yeah.
Now Kyle Hamilton's banged up. I did look it up. He is practicing, but he turned that ankle pretty dang bad.
Yeah.
In that game.
It's going to be limited. He'll fight through it. He'll probably play, but he's going to be hurt.
So it's kind of like with all great quarterbacks, this happens, but there's a year where the stats come, because you have to kind of carry a few elements.
Yeah.
And obviously Lamar deserved to get paid because the Ravens offensive line, the Ravens secondary, they should be affecting they should be affecting this, but they're 7-3. They should be 8-2. They should be 9-1.
They should be undefeated almost, the games that they've lost. Like,
Raiders, Browns, and of course the Chiefs.
And the toe. And then, I like Zay Flowers. He's turning into kind of the number one option. He's a superstar.
I'm on superstar watch with Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a great ad. I mean, like the great draft pick because they've been trying for years. Like Brown
finally hit
and
one.
Bateman. Bateman's not that good. So just like he's just complimentary.
I saw a thing where they were talking about Rashad Bateman who caught the winning pass.
The little floater. The
little floater.
Hold the follow through. Yeah.
Does anyone remember the play before that where he dropped the winning touchdown?
Right.
That's Bateman.
It's all forgotten.
And 1 for 2.
Yep.
All right, who you picking?
And then let's not forget Derrick Henry.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to pound himself
Speaking
some yards.
of free agent running
backs that have been making, going to make some more money.
This game's going to be good. Every Ravens Steelers game is good.
Yes.
Even if the teams aren't necessarily evenly matched like they appear to be right now, they're always good games.
Yeah.
It's at 1 o'clock.
I know.
This game, or 10 o'clock West Coast.
Yeah.
This is an early game.
Like, what are we doing?
That's so weird.
What are we doing out there, NFL? Flex one of these games in. Like, even the game we're going to talk about next isn't Sunday Night Football. It's
Ravens
baffling.
Steelers seems like it's an obvious one, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, how many times we got to do Cowboys Giants on Sunday Night Football and we don't do Steelers Ravens? Like, wake up.
Wake up, sheeple. All right, who are you picking?
This one's been a tough one. I've been back and forth in my head. But on the midseason episode, I said Steelers are going to win this division. I like Mike Tomlin. I think this offense is built for Russell Wilson really well, and I'm worried about the Ravens secondary. So I think, and it's at Steelers.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the home team here.
I'm going to go Baltimore. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson big time game. It's not about the Steelers defense to me. I mean, yes, one of their edge rushers out. I don't care.
Yeah.
I think Lamar Jackson is given the green light. They're humming at a pace that they've never hummed at before. And this game is a 48 over-under, which is actually more than Chiefs-Bills that we're about to talk to.
Wow.
So clearly, there's expectations kind of across the board that this is going to be higher scoring. And I think if it's that type of game, I'm going to pick Lamar Jackson over Russell Wilson, who, I mean, yes, moonballs aside, disappears for quarters at a time.
Yeah. And we haven't seen a true Russell Wilson bad quarter in a while.
Yeah.
So I can see the Steelers losing too, but I think my faith is in Mike Tomlin right now.
All right. Well, let's go to Buffalo, Kansas City. The 9-0 Kansas City Chiefs travel to the Buffalo Bills, who got a record you also shouldn't sneeze at, 8-2. Buffalo's favored by 2.5 at home. So the Chiefs are underdogs at 9-0.
A record you shouldn't sneeze at? What kind of expression is that?
You shouldn't. If you look at the Buffalo Bills 8-2, you shouldn't sneeze.
What you normally would do.
Am I mixing up sayings?
I don't know what kind of expression that is, but yeah,
all right.
But I'll roll with it.
Yeah.
This is classic matchup. We've been waiting for this one for a while. I mean, somehow the Chiefs are undefeated. I don't understand it.
What did you think of that Broncos?
Oh, my God.
The Chiefs blocked the kick at the end. Broncos deserved to win. That was a chip shot.
Yeah.
Bo Nix ate the clock.
He drove the
field goal for a chip shot to knock the Chiefs out of undefeated, and it's blocked.
I know. Classic Chiefs, man.
Yeah.
Just finding another way to win a stupid game.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 of their wins have been just like rubbish like this at the end.
Really? Yeah. The Falcons game.
The Falcons, the Bengals game with the pass interference.
Yeah.
The toe from the Ravens.
Bengals should have won that. Yeah. The toe from the Ravens.
I mean, this blocked field goal game here, I mean, like it's getting a little ridiculous out there.
I am on monkey paw watch for this though. They beat the Broncos to knock them to 5-5.
Yeah.
Really putting in play that Joe Burrow will be able to make the playoffs.
To come back.
And I think that Denver may fall, Joe Burrow may get in, and Burrow knocks the Chiefs out in the playoffs. I think something there could be a monkey's paw that you look back and go like, maybe the Chiefs should have let the Broncos
get into the playoffs.
Playoffs.
You'd rather have them be the 7th seed than the Bengals. Yeah.
All right, let's talk this game. We can't even. we can't even continue without reviewing what happened last year.
Oh.
Buffalo Chiefs regular season matchup.
Wide right
Great
two.
game. No.
The regular
that's
season?
the playoff game.
Okay.
The regular season one was Kadarius Toney offsides.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, the Chiefs were driving. They were down 3.
Yep.
Mahomes throws a deep crosser to Travis Kelce, who pitches it back to who was that? Was that Pacheco that he threw it to?
No, he threw it to Toney.
Or did he? He did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Throws it to Toney and a perfect hook and ladder,
Yep.
almost like Music City Miracle style. One of the greatest plays I had ever seen. I was screaming. There's a flag. Kadarius Toney lined up offsides.
Unbelievable.
Mahomes had an absolute fit. That was the last year's regular season matchup.
Yeah.
And then the divisional round, another great game. Josh Allen's very patient until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And he threw those 2 deep bombs that went incomplete. Tyler Bass is going to kick a field goal wide right. Which we've been really consistent. He makes that field goal, they lose. Because
the Chiefs would have got the
Chiefs
ball
have
with
2 minutes with 2 timeouts to get a field goal.
They tied the game with 13 seconds one of those years.
Yeah, no, this time they tied it with 2 minutes.
Yeah. So they were going to lose anyways. But I mean,
it's always a classic when these 2 teams meet.
I know. This is just the battle. Everybody's looking forward to it. But man, if I'm the Bills, you're really looking forward to winning this game. And I feel like the Bills are just that classic team. We beat you in the regular season, but we lose in the postseason.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't expend your karma here, Bills.
Yeah, I know. But you have to go out there and fight. I mean, this is one of the last games that the Bills have that are actually competitive.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that.
Yeah. But they don't have any division challengers. Neither do the Chiefs, I guess.
But if I'm Josh Allen, I want to just kick the crap out of them. Don't even make it close. Blow them out like the Ravens blew out the Bills earlier this season. Just go at them. Don't even make it close. Just say you are not at the level that we're at. You haven't played the competition that we have played yet. And honestly, if I'm the Chiefs, I might want to lose a game.
Yeah, take the pressure off.
Just get the burden off the back here because they're winning games very, very luckily, and I don't think it's helping them for the postseason.
I was listening to another podcast where they talked about the Super Bowl parade. Multiple Chiefs mentioned going undefeated next year. So it's kind of interesting. That's kind of a weird goal.
That's what they're heading for?
Yeah,
okay.
So they may care. And if we get in that awkward situation where they're not playing for anything but the record, I almost feel like as a Kansas City fan, you might want to lose one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, let Buffalo get their regular season wins. That's what Chiefs fans should be saying. Let them have their fun in Week 11.
Yeah.
Because they have another Sunday night football game where Josh Allen, remember, he hurdled the thing. They dominated the Chiefs in Arrowhead. No one cares about those anymore.
Yeah.
I'll reference back to the 90s. In between the Bills losing to the Cowboys twice in a row in the Super Bowl, they played on primetime in the 93 season. Bills crushed them, slaughtered the Cowboys. Does it matter? Does anyone remember but me? No. Stop blowing your karma in the regular season, Bills. Forfeit this game.
Just 3-0. Just an accidental. Bass tries to miss it, but makes it this time.
I think he tries to miss it
wide right, but it's hooks in.
It's like when you accidentally slice it, you correct it perfectly.
Right. I mean, I like where the Bills are headed. I love the Cooper edition. It's open, and Shakir seems to be healthy now. It's opening up Coleman to just be a rookie instead of having to be an actual playmaker.
Let me see if Amari Cooper's playing. Let me make.
And James Cook's been sneakily quiet, but he's still putting up good stats. He's still doing his job. He doesn't have to score every week. You don't need 150 from him. Yeah,
Davis or who the other running backs looking good too.
The rookie.
The line, the Bills, both lines, defense and offensive line. They are the secret sauce here. Yeah. That's why everything's looking good. I was just looking up if Amari Cooper is going to play. It says he's feeling better on the wrist, so
that tells us nothing.
Limited participation. Yeah, that tells us nothing.
Yeah, and that's from Cooper?
Well, the limited participation is his official designation.
Okay,
but yeah,
all right.
It felt good, is what Cooper said. Good. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, God, these games, man. These weird little injury report games.
Why can't they just say what it is?
There's no way to regulate it. You're going to need NFL people there, doing medicine on people. Like,
and
that's not the way the world works.
Yeah, and even that is all subjective too. Like what one person's true pain is another person's, able to perform through. So
never gonna fix it.
Yeah,
but yeah, and Chiefs side of the ball, man, like I love the Hopkins addition.
Me too.
That's cool with me. Like that's definitely working. I love that Mahomes actually has a wide receiver option out there. Mm-hmm. It's opening up Kelsey a little bit more.
Yeah.
Ever since the Rashee Rice injury, like this was a big addition that they needed.
Yep.
But Kareem Hunt starting to slow down, I think, a little bit. They're having to pace his carries a little bit more. I think he's playing through something.
Yeah.
So they're going to need Pacheco to come back at some point this season.
Yeah.
I don't know how much his leg's going to heal because he broke the leg.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to go, but they've always said he's coming back.
Yeah.
So I mean,
at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking at their injury report. Pacheco is limited practice, so
yeah,
officially limited. So he's in there.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the whole game comes down to what I'm going to watch is Bills offense versus the Chiefs defense. Yeah. Like I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah. I agree.
How do they attack Josh Allen? How does Josh Allen attack them? Like this is round one.
It's all about patience.
You assume these guys are going to meet in the postseason at some point.
Josh Allen, Steve Spagnuolo, Allen in that divisional game resisted all his demons, and they drove like 4 big touchdown drives.
Yeah,
he needs to do that again, and just and exercise what he stumbled at the end there, threw a bunch of deep balls that weren't caught. I mean, if Diggs would have caught the football, we'd be talking a whole different story. So,
right,
who are you picking?
Man, to keep going with the Chiefs' undefeated season, it's so hard to keep picking it because they're not winning games. Every game they win by like a one possession game.
But maybe that's a destiny thing.
Yeah,
destiny.
I looked up a stat that said that out of all the undefeated teams to this point, like what 9-0,
yeah,
they got the least point differential out of all those teams, and there's like 25 of them.
Yeah,
I don't know how, like so many of them, and they're down there at the bottom.
But maybe that's a reason they can go undefeated because they've kind of had their losses without having their losses.
Yeah,
I don't know. Because Mahomes could get hot here.
To me, if it's close, I'm gotta pick the Chiefs.
Okay,
Andy Reid over Sean McDermott any day. Like
I'm picking the Chiefs too.
Yeah,
and I think the Bills should purposefully hold back their cards from their vest. And don't worry about Week 11, though. You make a point. No NFL team would ever do this. They've got to try their hardest.
I know, right? But I am, just for the record, I am rooting for the Bills
to
kick the crap out of them. I want them just a blowout, just like screw you Chiefs.
I love it.
But here we are, back-to-back Super Bowl champs, and they are got to be like the most like they're undefeated, and they are like under the radar Super Bowl contenders right now. We're talking about Lions, Ravens, Bills, like all these other teams, and the Chiefs are just like, they're like, oh yeah, they're the champs, but they're just not playing the way they should. Like, this is Tom Brady-esque, man. This is Patriots old school.
This happened. It's exactly what I was going to say. This was Patriots every year. Last year wasn't a Chiefs dynasty year as we experienced it.
Yeah.
We now look back on it. Oh, the Chiefs, one of their years.
Of course they won.
Like, look at what we were saying about the Chiefs in Week 11.
And after they lost Tyreek Hill, the same thing. So
and their offense has never been that bad. And yet we've always criticized it post Tyreek Hill. I think this may be the worst offense they've ever had.
Yeah, I think
Mahomes.
so. But, all right. Yeah. So we're both going Chiefs?
Both going Chiefs.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this one quickly because then we got the Sunday Night Football game. So Atlanta 6-4 at Denver 5-5. Denver is favored by 2.5. This is an interesting game because it's interconference with two teams who are kind of on a downslide and need something to save their butts.
Yeah.
They need a win. They need to turn this around.
Falcons' loss last week was unacceptable. You lost to the Saints, but of course, the team fires their coach.
Yep.
They always win the next week.
New coach bump.
I don't know why that
only doesn't work for the Jets, which we called.
Right? So, but that was a bad loss. They could have easily won that game. Koo misses like 3 field goals, and Cousins gets a couple BS turnovers.
Yeah.
Falcons need this because Bijan Robinson's playing his butt off.
Yeah.
Dude, he's so good.
Bijan?
I mean, he is awesome. Kirk Cousins just kind of does what Kirk Cousins does. He's just non-existent some games.
Yeah.
And, with the Denver defense looking pretty dang good, so they're going to put more pressure on Kirk here.
I was really impressed with Denver in that Kansas City game. I'm not going to say Bo Nix is good. Bo Nix is not a rookie in week 9. He's a fourth year quarterback because he played 6 years of college football.
Almost every podcast
I have to bring it up. Like, why are we talking about this guy as if he's like, come on.
It's just because he's kind of in the playoffs and everybody loves a rookie quarterback.
But Sean Payton saw what he needed to see in Bo Nix. They controlled that game, very, very conservative.
Yeah.
The defense was stifling. I mean, they muddied that game up against the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And then you got to think the Falcons are the least, disciplined. I mean, Kirk Cousins is crazy.
Oh,
he's absolutely crazy. There was like a 4th down in that game near the end against the Saints. He checked it down.
Yeah.
Checked it down. Oh my God!
His like awareness of where the game's at, it's just baffles
me. He follows the play.
Yeah.
He follows the play no matter what. He's the Alex Smith.
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say that. He's better than Alex Smith, but that part of his game is Alex Smithian.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest worry for the Falcons is they cannot rush the passer. Mm-hmm. They have nobody rushing the passer at all. I mean, it's been awful. Like I think they're bottom in the league in sacks. I mean,
they would have a really good defense if they could.
Yeah,
because they got a lot of pieces on the back end.
Yeah, and they just not getting any pressure, which will give Bo Nix time to have a few overthrows. Mm-hmm. And I like that the Broncos switched randomly to that rookie running back last week.
Yeah, me
I
too.
thought that was smooth. That was nice. Like, okay,
fantasy owners were calling for that for a long time.
Yeah, it's just like, this guy's not working. Let's throw somebody else in there that might actually work. But I cannot bet on Bo Nix. I mean, I am with you. I think Bo Nix sucks.
He does suck.
I was very watching him come back and drive that down the field after scoring 0 points in the second half and getting him all the way into field goal position. I was shocked. Like, jaw on the ground. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this guy just pulled this off?
Yeah.
But, a broken clock's right twice a day.
Okay.
So that's all I'm chalking that up to.
All right. I mean, I was impressed by that drive. But you're right.
I was shocked.
The whole game counts, too.
Yeah.
I'm picking Denver because I just feel like Atlanta is just wobbly. And it's in Denver, and I just don't trust them. And I think, I just think Denver is the more rock-steady team.
Yeah. If I had to go down to coaching, I think Peyton has it over Morris.
Yeah, and this is outdoors. The Falcons are soft. That's my thought.
I'm going with Kirk.
Okay.
Kirk's going with a Kirk. I'm going Falcons. The redemption from last week.
All right, let's get to Sunday night football. Cincinnati Bengals 4-6 going to the Los Angeles Chargers 6-3, and I think their NFL season debut. We have not talked Chargers at all.
And just for the record, flexing a game out, this would be a good. I mean, I like this game. Yeah. But Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Steelers.
This game was flexed in.
This was flexed in.
Yeah. It was Jets, Colts.
Oh, I'm glad that game's out. Yeah,
I think. I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I remember hearing about the CBS and Fox have a right to tag games that are unflexible.
Oh,
and CBS, and that's the number one overall pick of unflexible games. Yeah. Allen versus Mahomes.
Okay.
So, but I will tell you this: I will not be waiting all day for Sunday night. I'll be watching a Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen.
Right.
I won't be sitting there watching Pat Mahomes versus Josh Allen going, golly, I can't wait for the Chargers game.
Right? They need a new song.
They do.
Need a new song. I'm sorry.
They do.
But yeah, this is a good game.
Yeah, and
this
2020 quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, number 1 pick. Justin Herbert, number 6 pick.
If Burrow goes down, do you think they start saying Herbert should have been picked number 1?
Absolutely, they do.
Over Tua and Burrow?
Oh, for sure.
Definitely Tua.
We've been there. We've been there all over. I always use the 2016 quarterback class as an example. There was consensus that Wentz was the best, consensus that Dak was the best, consensus that Goff was the best, and it rotated a few times.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we have not talked Chargers.
We have not
at all.
And I've been I read up on them a little bit because I honestly have barely been paying attention.
Right,
they haven't been in prime time. They're kind of a boring Jim Harbaugh team.
Classic.
And they've been playing bad quarterbacks. I mean, they're beating like Minshew, and I mean, they're not beating anybody good.
Beating Panthers. And,
exactly.
Raiders. Yeah, like.
But I'm almost like I remember saying that Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert were a bad combo because Justin Herbert is such a yes sir, no sir, or yes sir,
yeah,
of course sir. But maybe he does just need Jim Harbaugh to just be his personality.
Yeah.
And you go out there and you play just game manager football, even though you're a freaking Lamborghini. Drive the speed limit.
Yep.
For some reason, I don't know why Justin Herbert is like this. He has the highest support by EPA of his defense and special teams of any quarterback in the league.
Really?
So Justin Herbert, Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert,
That's shocking,
is getting the best performance expected points above average from his supporting defense and special teams of any quarterback. Again, this is the Chargers.
This is the Chargers we're talking about.
The Jim Harbaugh effect is here. Like this is pretty good stuff.
I know, and I just hate Harbaugh too, because just the Niners-Seahawks rivalry from old days.
Yeah,
and I didn't really like him in Michigan.
Oh,
and I don't really like him as a Chargers coach.
No, the khaki whiner.
I know, right? He seems to be whining less, but we might see that coming.
Yeah, well, he's 6-3. We could.
And he had that heart problem a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right? So maybe they toned him down a little bit. I like that they're playing good in the trenches. I think that's a classic Harbaugh staple.
Yeah.
And everybody was worried when they got rid of Eckler and Allen and Williams, and like, what are they going to do now? Well, they're going to battle in the trenches where you need to win football games, and we'll let Ladd McConkey do his thing.
Yep.
They've Quentin Johnston is doing just fine. He's scoring touchdowns. Palmer's a good deep threat. He's basically Mike Williams. They're the same type of dude.
With a good line, anybody is. Everything is about lines.
And then J.K. Dobbins, everybody always hands, comeback player of the year to a quarterback. Mm-hmm. But, J.K. Dobbins should be in that conversation.
Yeah, because he was Achilles injuries, so
year after
running backs
year,
do not come back.
His first 4 years, it's just hurt. Now he's just, unbelievably good with the Chargers here.
Running backs do not come back from those injuries.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
6-3, and this is like the most untalked about team in all of football, I think.
And it's about to be the most talked about if they beat the Bengals.
If they beat the Bengals on primetime, this is huge.
They'll go to 7-3. They'll have a really good spot kind of locked up in the wild card. Not locked up, but they'll be in a huge 2-game driver's seat.
Oh, yeah.
And the Bengals could be toast.
You lose this game,
4-7 if they lose. And Joe Burrow putting up like his best season.
I know.
But he's the opposite of Justin Herbert right now. He has got no support from his defense and from his special teams. They're just blowing it everywhere else in Cincinnati.
He's doing what Herbert had to do for the 4 years.
We have switched roles.
Yeah,
that's why you don't say Herbert or Burrow is better. The rest of the team matters. Yeah, we have switched roles, and they got to do something to stop the bleeding, and it's got to be this week.
Yeah, I really hope Higgins is back this week because you can tell they kind of miss him. Yeah. Having Gesicki replace Higgins is not like a sustainable option. It's worked for a couple weeks here, but Higgins has got to come back and be that guy. He runs a slant route so well, always catches it with his hands. Like that opens everything up. And nobody throws a better slant route than Joe Burrow in the NFL. Just period, 100%. He's running like 4 wide, and they're all running slants, and he picks the perfect guy and hits them right on the numbers every freaking time. I don't know how he does it.
Burrow's great.
But I love the Bengals. This is such a tough game to call.
This is one. And look at
because I know so little about the Chargers.
Yeah, let me check the line for you. Oh, it's Chargers by 1.5. Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're at home.
Yeah. So. As a Bengals fan, I'm calling Bengals. Just get back into this playoff race. Get to that 5th win, put some more pressure on the Broncos here. Have all these teams just hate having you be a 7 seed.
Yeah.
Just they don't even want to think about you.
I'm calling Bengals too. Like they've barely lost to the Ravens twice. They should have won one of those games. Should have won both of them.
Barely lost to them. Barely lost to the Chiefs. Barely lost to the Commanders.
The Bengals are hanging in there for all their problems on defense. Yes, they're not rolling like we've seen them in the last 3 years. They've gotten into places where they are an obvious Super Bowl contender. They haven't got there yet this year.
Yeah.
But they're still a good team, and they could easily have beaten some of those. Like, I don't think the Chargers are really in that league.
Yeah, the Chargers are kind of the team, who have you played conversation, and the Bengals are in the, you played a bunch of good teams, and you're still like a good team, but not, the record doesn't show it.
I think that shows up Sunday night, and the Bengals roll.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But something in me just says this is just a classic.
Hey,
Bengals just can't get it done, man.
It sucks because Burrow's putting up the numbers.
I know, so good.
Like a Drew Brees situation.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's week 11.
Looking forward to it.
Be a bunch of good games. My name's Miles.
I'm Kirk.
A good night.